Welcome to Still Talking Uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy, joined by my co host, Sean Rigsby. Special guest tonight, my man, the one and only Mr. TikTok sensation. He will fuck your grill up, hide your grills, hide your liquor. My boy, B Bean in the house. Welcome to the show, brother. Welcome to the
What's
show.
up, guys?
What's going on, man?
It's a pleasure to have you, man.
I appreciate it.
We old pool boy.
Yeah.
Now, we've had some really good episodes the last few, and I'm like, man, Sean, we're due for a shit show.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, you choose. And I was like, I'm getting beat on. I didn't even hesitate. I knew, like, man, yeah, we're going to have a good time. So,
Heck
we're going to
yeah.
have a great time. So, we always start the show out the same way. Sometimes we skip, but, that's what it is. What you drinking on over there, Bean?
I got two things. I got some or the last of your peach that I got. And
The
then
Big Easy's peach brandy.
yeah. And then I got some of this Wilderness Trail bourbon.
What do you think of that Wilderness Trail? I haven't
I
gotten
like
a chance to try any of it yet.
I like it. It's really good. Really good.
Now is that rye or
No, this is their Kentucky straight.
okay?
Yep.
Nice. So, about a month ago, Bean sent me a jar. I figure I'll break it out again tonight.
You know, let me
That's
explain. Let me tell you
That's a
something.
special jar that Bean sent me, man. I tell you, I can't quite put my finger on what it is. It's like ginger and grape juice,
I
and it's kind
don't.
of coconutty.
Yeah, it's different for sure. I don't dislike it though.
No,
It's
it's not
definitely got a
bad.
coconut flavor to it. To me,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so like I went researching trying to figure out what it was, and I think they was talking like it's some type of ginger in cherry juice or grape juice. Like there's so many different ways to make it, but
yeah.
I think the common thing was ginger, but I could be wrong.
Yep. The thing is, I actually asked him a long time ago what that was, and he didn't really give me a good explanation. It was just more like that. The party juice is what he called it.
Yeah.
Which what we're probably thinking is Harry Buffalo, right up here. I don't know how it is about where you're at, Bean, but
So, where you're at, Bean, you go to a party and they just take everything they can find and dump it in a cooler and drink it. What do y'all call that?
PJ.
PJ.
Yeah.
party
We call it.
juice.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
call it Harry Buffalo.
Okay.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so not to cut anybody off again, but so I was talking to our buddy Sturge tonight. We got on the conversation of a copper still that got dented,
Been
and
there.
and that kind of led me to whose it was and who built it.
It's one of
And
my favorite stories.
yeah, so I'm
I
drinking
was just
this
mad I wasn't there.
Beattyville Hillbilly Huckleberry Moonshine.
Okay.
Nice.
Donnie's the one that built that, so I figured might as well.
Old Donnie and Teresa.
Yep,
What flavor is that?
Huckleberry.
So old Scotty said they call it jungle juice down where they're at.
Jungle Juice. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard that one before too.
So we always called it Harry Buffalo. Like that was always what it was called in
Yep.
my group. And it was literally like, what's in it? Like everything. Like everybody would show up with something. And it
Tequila,
didn't matter what
vodka,
you had.
Everclear, it don't matter.
Yep. It didn't matter what you had, you would dump it in there, man. And just, it's how you stretch a half a bottle in a 10.
Oh man.
It's a good time. So where'd you get that jar at, Sean?
What jar?
The hillbilly.
Oh, the Beattyville, this stuff?
Yeah.
So, okay, so, I got, where the fuck did I get this? Oh, I got this from, when we were in Beattyville a couple years ago.
Okay.
And, this label's actually ran through Neely Family Distillery in Sparta, Kentucky.
Nice. They call it coon dog punch down in Texas.
Yep.
It's all the same shit, but no matter where you're at, then It always,
Stay away from all that.
it always they call it something different, man. It's wild. But that's no different than like terms we use in distilling. Like we call something up here, and they call it something different. And you try to talk to people, and you tell them what you're talking about. They have no idea what you're talking about, and then you explain what you're talking. Like, oh, we call it that. So
that's like with Bennett and the split, with the split brandy and mountain brandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't never called it split brandy. I always just called it mountain brandy.
Yeah.
But it's wild. It's wild. So Bean, man. So in case y'all don't know, Bean's real big on TikTok. He's got
sensation.
Yeah, sensational Bean. I tell you, he's got a pretty cool channel, man. He makes a lot of food and does some distilling. So maybe Sean will copy the link and post it for y'all to go check it out because I'm not going to.
I'm not sure how to do that.
I'll get stuck on TikTok and anyways.
It's cool.
So Bean, man, when did you start distilling and what got you into it?
So I think this is my second year actually doing it.
This motherfucker.
Second
year?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So I wanted to start doing it when I first saw the Popcorn Sutton movie they made, and that's when I got interested in it and wanting to do it. And I talked about it forever and never did do it, and then finally I just decided, screw it, I'm going to do it. And a lot of it happened because I got on TikTok and I seen everybody on TikTok doing it, and I was like, man, everybody's doing this. I might as well try it, So I got a keg and a column and went to town.
Did you happen to buy that from Bennett?
No, the first one I didn't. I
had to ask. That's what I was going to say, man. 2 years and this guy's already in with what he's got there.
Yeah, like Bean's already had more stills than I've had cars my lifetime.
Yeah.
Between him and Bennett, I think they just passing them back and forth, And only 2 years. So was you on TikTok for a little while, just doing the cooking thing?
Yeah. I mean, I was on there just I barely posted anything, and then just followed everybody and started talking and hanging out with everybody and stuff like that, and then just kind of how it went and just got into it. And once I got into it, I didn't stop. It was just not.
You get into it, and then all of a sudden you're hooked.
Yeah, and I was ate up. Just like every weekend.
And then let's be for real, man. You chose the right group and circle of people to get involved with at first. You didn't go through all the Facebook crap. And getting discouraged with that on there, and you hopped on TikTok, and you can usually tell, who the legit people are when you're talking to them, or at least that rears its head, and you can get to really see who the legit people are. Not so long, and
that's probably the way you want to go with that.
It's just like anything else, man. We all find the people that we're drawn to most, the people we get along with the best, and you can tell when they're bullshitting you most of the time, except Bennett. You never tell. Bennett's always bullshitting, so I never believe nothing he says. but you find a good group, and then you become friends with them, and there's no judgment as far as what you got, if you're doing something wrong or you're trying something new. Yeah. Not saying that group of friends won't bust you balls repeatedly over.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's all just fun,
Right.
So they just that's what it's all about, And so what was the first thing you ran? Like when you got started, you had a cake still.
The funny thing is I tried to do a sugar wash, and it wouldn't ferment, and I wanted to run, so we had a bunch of wine. That I don't drink wine, and people just left a bunch of wine at the house, so I dumped it in the keg and ran it, and I thought it was the best thing in the world at the time, but it's back in.
Let's be for real, man. Some brandy. You made some brandy. It's probably a little earthy, and out of your first run, you haven't been around other people who run.
Yeah.
You haven't been over your boys trying their liquor. You haven't made a trip up to the jam and tried 40 different types of alcohol. So it don't matter what comes out of that still your first time. Usually you're like, man, this is pretty good.
Right.
And then later on, if you could go back and taste it, you'd be like, oh, that was a tire fire. But
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
you know,
for
after
sure.
half a jar, man, it all tastes the same.
Yeah, I was actually when I was in Florida at my dad's Thanksgiving, and he brought out a jar that I brought him like the first couple runs I made, and I told him, I said, please just throw this away. Don't let nobody else try this.
I mean, you know, it's good to know where you came from, man.
Right.
Like, I tell you, one of the coolest things I did was when we went down for Hooch's jar release. I'm back at his place later that night, and you know we're drinking. It's about midnight, and I'm like, man, hold on, I forgot. And I go out to the car and I come back in. I'm like, here's the first jar you ever gave me. So the first jar he gave me in 2020, I was like, here you go, man. I had his sticker. I put his sticker on it and everything. I was like, this is I know you don't have one of these, but this is the very first jar you ever handed me, man. And you know, and you try, awesome. and you're like, oh damn, man, what the hell was you thinking? Like, you know, you start giving him shit like this got tails and glycerin and everything else in it. Hooch, what the hell?
For sure.
You know, it's all about, you know, it's a memory, you know, and it takes you back to your first setup, and well, so
I'll say that was the biggest thing for me is like getting to meet everybody and actually getting to talk and stuff like that helped me tremendously, like grow and you know get better at what I was trying to do. You know,
so
go ahead.
Sorry, the first keg still you had, was that the one that you painted copper?
No, so that was actually the second one. I decided I wanted to run on electric, and so I got that one. I got the keg from Sheila, and then I painted it copper, you know, put the Cavalier emblem on it and all that. And I was running it here in the pool house.
I was getting to that.
And my wife actually, she always works weekends. So it was one weekend she came home. I didn't clean up. And, you know, before she got home, she seen it out of here. And she said, this ain't no damn shine shack. And so she kicked me back out to my building. So
that's how it goes, man. So, I know you was at the Jam last year. Was you there the year before?
No, last year was my first year.
Okay, so last year was the first time I met you in person, I believe.
Yeah. That was my first one.
So are you going to the winter one next weekend?
So I think I'm going to go up Saturday because I'm supposed to meet with Jerry. He's going to bend that copper for me for that new barrel worm. So I'm probably going to go up Saturday and just hang out during the day because I might have the kids with me. So I'll go to you know, when it starts getting wild, I'll go. We'll leave, and then Sunday we're supposed to get together. He's going to bend that copper for me. So
hell yeah.
Is it just a copper coil he's on wrap for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a pretty cool little contraption.
Yeah, and I didn't want to risk ruining that big a piece of copper myself, you know. So
yeah, so like me and Phil, we wrapped that 1 1/8 inch, 60 feet of it, and I was like, bro, we got to cut this in half and finish rolling it. 60 feet's a lot to work with, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, like that big, it wears you get tired. You get tired quick trying to do that by hand. Yeah, I've seen that. I seen video of the one that Jerry made that he uses to wrap his coals, and it's badass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's above my pay grade. I'm just gonna sit here and work this, do it the hard way. So
I'd end up creasing it or something. I'd ruin it somehow. I know I would. So
you just gotta have faith and let it roll, man.
Because I tried to do it. I tried
that
to
big
make
thick stuff,
worm.
man. Yeah, that big thick stuff is a little harder to kink.
Well, I tried to make a keg worm following your video on the 1/2-inch soft copper, and the whole first roll I had, I creased it the shit out of it. I mean, it was trash.
You watch me do it on
the copper is sitting in the building.
You watch me do it on video. I'm just like, all right, here you go, man. Check that out, and I pull it out.
Easy enough.
Like, that's fucking simple. That big stupid son of a bitch right there can do it. I can do that, no problem, man.
Favorite still hand, yeah.
So I know you got linked up with quite a few dudes from TikTok, you know, and I imagine, you know, like all of us, became good friends with a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
And to me, that's my favorite part of it, you know,
right.
like become good friends with these people, and then all of a sudden you've got a group that you can shoot the shit with, you can talk serious about, you can actually get good info.
Yeah.
And who would have thought that you would have acquired your own personal still dealer?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a blessing and a curse meeting Bennett.
Damn it, Bennett.
He's helped me a lot, but he's cost me a lot too.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
You made it back reselling it to somebody else. Like Bean just rents them. He leases them. He just leases them still.
Right. Yeah.
And then every now and then Bennett got to come repo it, and then have to do some paperwork and get it back. And
he waits until I get it set up the way I like it, and then
and he's like, "Hey, check this out."
Pieces it out.
He likes it when you get it set up the way he likes it.
Right.
He's like, "Oh, I missed that still.
I like that. I want that back.
I like that. I missed that still."
And you know, on his way home, he's posting on Facebook using pictures that you took from your house.
Right.
For sale. So over the past couple of years, I imagine you've gotten real deep into your new hobby.
Yeah.
Just to perfect your craft. What have you found that, like, what works best for you when it comes to converting your grains, for example?
I mean, I've been using the alpha and glucoamylase. I mean, honestly, I don't really have a way to sit there and step mash. I don't have a paddle, and I'm not going to sit there and stir that shit for an hour.
You need a paddle? I can ship you one.
Fuck you, Sean will ship you a hoe. He was waiting on that one.
Right. Yeah.
I'm buying Sean a little mini 2-foot hoe. Like, yeah, mixed with that. But, hey, you found what works great for you, and I imagine it's very successful. So why deviate from that?
Right.
Like I said, them enzymes, they made a splash on the scene because now all of a sudden everybody knows about them, and dude, they work great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So. Well, and the big distilleries, they're not going to use barley. I mean, you don't get 100% conversion or whatever. Still leave some behind.
Yeah.
So,
if you ask Bennett, I need to leave grain alone and just stick to fruit. So that's what he tells me anyway.
So, I know you've been dabbling in the fruit. Like, what was your first fruit run that you done?
A copy of your peach brandy. Except for I used agave. I used the agave for my sugar.
Okay, instead of how'd that come out?
Yeah,
I mean it was good. It was good, but it was when I was still newish on the cake still. So
Oh, you were still running on the cake still then?
Yeah.
Did it have?
But it was one of those that I could still taste now and think I did good on it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Did brandy's where it's at, man. It forgives a lot because it's just the sweet hints. Definitely they're forgiving, very forgiving. Whereas with corn, you're just like, oh no, that ain't right. That ain't right.
Well, the first grain thing that I gave Bennett that he said was horrible was the blue corn I got from you guys. And he was like, I just don't like blue corn. And now he blames it on Jimmy Red, So it's because they had red corn in it too.
Okay. He's got a vendetta against Jimmy Red.
Yeah,
I hope it comes out. I hope it comes out of that barrel awesome. I hope it comes out of this barrel great. I can't wait to try it. So, you have a favorite type of yeast that you enjoy using?
I mean, wouldn't say I have a favorite. I mean, I use bread yeast more than anything, really. When it comes to the fruit, I really like using the EC118 though. But any of the grain stuff, I just use bread yeast. So
have you ever used bread yeast on any fruit?
I did it on the apples. Yeah, on that last run of apple, I did.
Nice.
Yep.
What'd you think about how it fermented for you and how it came out in the end?
Well, that was the one that when it started getting cold and it took forever to, so
that was the freeze.
It wasn't the yeast's fault. It was the weather's fault, so.
But, right before the big freeze came through, what was it, around Christmas, I would say?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
All these dudes were like, hey, we're all making apple brandy. Let's make apple brandy. And I'm like, bro, it's too cold to ferment outside. I can't ferment apple brandy outside.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? screw it, I'm going to make it. All these dudes are making some apple brandy. I'm going to get in on this. And so I ferment in the house, and everybody knows I ain't allowed to ferment in the house. And I'll be damned if when a lady comes downstairs and sees that big old 20-gallon bin of apple mash just fermenting away. She's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Look, hear me out. Like, so I had to do this for Bean. Like, and this started my long run of just blaming Bean for shit. I was just like, this is Bean's fault. He challenged me, and I had no choice. I had to get this done. And then and then later on down the line, we're at a bowling alley, and I order 5 bottles of beer, and then I pull a jar of liquor out of my pocket, and the lady's like, "Where'd you get that at?" And I was like, "Oh, Bean gave that to me." I just be blaming Bean for shit now. So whenever I'm around Bean, I won't call you Bean. All right. You just be BB. Like,
oh man,
I tossed Bean under the bus a few times.
I wish that would work on my old lady. It never worked.
Just blame me. I'll take it. Like I said, you got like 4 or 5 credits. You can blame me for shit. That's just how it goes. So we got to look out for each other.
That's right.
So, do you like thumpers or just a single thumper or jars or rerunning your liquor or?
Are you a straight arm with a strip and rerun?
So I haven't really when I first started doing it on the keg still, I was doing strip and run, stripping and going a second.
Did you just have a column and condenser on your first keg still? Was it just a straight?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then now I try to do everything single pass if I can now. That molasses stuff I did a couple weeks ago though, there's no way. It's too much oil in it. I think I'm gonna have to do it again. So I just made another big mash and run that and then run them both together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to do everything just one time through a thumper, or through the jars, which I don't have jars anymore. Some guy took them away from me. But
I mean, he did you a favor, man. Every time I saw a picture of him, it was going backwards. I'm gonna throw Bean out on this one. He got this. What was it, like 3 or 4 jars, and it's a big nice setup. And he hooks it all up, and he takes a picture. He sends it to me, like, "Dude, check it out." And I'm like, I hated to be the dick, but I was like, "Hey, bro, they're on backwards." And he's like, "Oh shit, my bad." And then he fixes them, whatever. And then he goes to run them. And he messages and he's like, "Hey man, these things ain't pushing, man. Nothing's happening." And I'm like, "Send me a picture." And he sent me a picture, and I was like, "Bro, they're on backwards again."
Yeah, that second time, I wasn't paying attention at all, and it wasn't running right. And I was like, I don't know.
It wasn't running right, and I'm like, "They're backwards, bro."
First, and of course he said to text you, and I was like, "All right." Oh man!
And then I'll be damned if I didn't hop on TikTok and you had a video of them running, hooked up backwards. And
it's still up there though.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Hey, you gotta own it, man. But
yep.
That's
one mistake you'll only make twice.
Right.
I don't know, like 3 times.
Well, the first time was just a picture, so
All right.
Once it is.
Good times, man. Hey, you ain't the first person that's done that, dude. It happens,
Man, it was so funny though, because it actually ran for a few minutes, and then out of nowhere it was just like everything started just pushing through those jars.
until they fill up with liquid, they're just acting like slobber boxes.
Yeah.
And then but once that out pipe gets filled up with liquid, it can't push no more, and you start creating back pressure.
Tail light warranty.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ben's a dude. He'll sell it to you for $2,500, let you take it, and then offer you $2,000 to get it back a few weeks later. Like, I'll buy back off you for a couple grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
1,500 maybe, a little 1,500. We get it on down there. Yeah.
And then they'll repost it for sale again.
So I know you ran on them too. You ran on the keg still for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and you said you tried electric.
Yeah.
Now, what what did you or did you not like about switching from gas to electric, and then why did you go back?
And was it an SCR or was it a PID?
It was SCR. I wouldn't say that I didn't like electric. The thing, I had got used to the gas, like the sound of the burner going, and I could listen to it and know what I needed to adjust, right? With electric, there's no sound. So it's like you have to pay attention 100% of the time. To me, at the time, I had to pay attention 100% of the time to make sure I was doing everything right. But the reason I went back is because I went out to the building. I don't have, I run everything off a drop cord out there.
Okay.
So that's why I went back to gas. So
I know, because it's always me and B. We're like
better.
Team Propane, bro. Team Propane. Team Propane.
Right. I mean, I like it. I like running propane. I'm used to it, I think is what it is.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to break your ways, and that's like, dude, give me a propane burner, man. Right. I want to see it. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
And it gives you something. I stare at the fire. I'm a little pyro, bro.
Right.
Got to feed that fuel. Like, that's just the way it is.
Exactly.
So after your cake stills, what did you move up to?
So that was the 30-gallon that Jerry built.
So you're talking about Jerry Benson built
a Jerry Benson, Maggie Valley Steel Company. That was his 30-gallon. I got from Bennett. That was my first consignment deal.
Pot thumper worm.
Do I?
Consignment deal.
Yeah, I'm a consignment.
Was it a pot thumper worm, or is that the one that you built your worm?
It was jars. It was pot into the jars, and then a worm. Or it had a what he calls a brandy pipe. So you just run it straight.
Yeah. Some people use their bypass to run without the jars. Like you'll see people do that.
Yeah.
To take that bypass and brandy pipe, like you said.
Just run straight bypass? Through.
Yeah.
What's a bypass?
I don't. We're still trying to figure it out. Hooch, you in here? Explain to us what a bypass is. I've never seen one.
But yeah, that was my first one out of the keg still, and I probably didn't run it maybe 4 months before I moved up to that 50-gallon. That was another one Jerry built.
I'll take a stab in the dark and say that one came from Bennett also.
Right. Yeah.
So did the 30-gallon go back to Bennett, or did it move on somewhere else?
No, I kept it for a little while, and then he told me he had an idea for it, so he wanted it back, and then he got it back. So
he had an idea to sell.
What kind of an idea? That's what I was gonna say. What was that idea exactly?
I never found that out.
Bennett, what was that idea? I see in the comments.
But I told him that he could probably sell it faster than I could because he knows a lot more people than I do. So
Hollywood.
Yeah, right.
That's because he's a still reseller, man.
But yeah, so when I got that 50-gallon, then I decided to change it up. I got Kevin Gordon to build a cap for it and a thumper. Nice. So I could run either with a thumper or with the jars, either way.
Is that the one you built the worm for?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one I built the barrel worm for.
If you haven't seen it, man, Bean makes badass barrel worm. It's beautiful, it's a beautiful worm. Yeah, I imagine the newer looking barrel makes it look a lot better.
Yeah,
than the old barrel. But just how he did the inside, and they're real. I believe it's similar to what I've seen on somebody else. They build them just like that. How you the two boards and you cramp them over the pipe.
Oh yeah. So basically, what I did on that was I already had the plastic barrel that Jerry builds. Mm-hmm. So I took his guts out of that and put it in that.
Okay. So you just took the guts out of the plastic barrel and put it in it.
Yeah.
Nice. That's some lazy shit, Bean. I'm impressed, bro. My man. I didn't really. I just cut a hole in the barrel and stuck that shit in there.
Yeah.
That's
I tried to seal the barrel up to where it wouldn't have to swell, but that failed miserably on the first one. This next one I'm going to do, though, I got a better idea, so hopefully it'll work.
Swell the shit out of them before.
You're right.
Cutting holes.
Yeah, because that first run I did on it, the whole floor in the building was just covered with water where that thing was just leaking.
So you didn't swell the barrel at all?
Oh, no. I just filled it with water and started.
Oh, shit. That thing was leaking like crazy all night.
Yeah, I had to keep the water hose in there constantly.
And then a few days later, it was good. Like, oh yeah, I
Yep.
guess I should have swelled this. So my question is, where your pipe goes through the side of the barrel, what did you seal the inside with?
So I use silicone, like a bathroom silicone. Yeah, I got the tightest hole saw I could for the size of the worm, and just you took the silicone, put it on there, and then pressed it in with my fingers until I packed that thing full. So that's how I got it in there.
So, did you get one of those bad motivator barrels?
Yeah, I have like 4 or 5 of them now.
Really? So I had somebody asking about them. What do you think about those barrels and how?
I mean, I like them. They're awesome because you know they hold. I think it's 1.8 gallons they hold, so you don't have to run a ton to fill one up.
So you run one time and fill 10 of them up, right?
Yeah. So hey, Peach. But from what I can tell, I mean, they do age like a big barrel because the stuff I have in them, they barely have any color so far. I mean, it's aging. Yeah. It's going to take time.
Just like, I believe that was the draw to them. Like, hey, man, put your 1.8 gallons in here, and then you got to wait like it's a 53-gallon barrel.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever shake them, or do you just let them sit?
I just let them sit.
Sit.
Yeah, I don't mess with it any.
I would imagine.
I figure they ain't going out in the warehouse and
they ain't going out moving nothing. Only way they're getting shook is if there's an earthquake,
right?
or if you walk by it real hard,
right? Yep.
So, how long have you had them full? I mean, or are you planning on letting them sit there?
I want to let it go. I mean, I want to let it go at least a year. I mean, I'm probably 2 years on those. The 5-gallon barrel I have out there, I'm letting go a year, which next March will be a year on that one. So then we'll try it then and see how it comes out. Then I've got that 10-gallon barrel that I filled with the apple brandy. We're gonna play with it. We're gonna wait and see on that. I know you're shaking your head at me. Hey, it had
ruining good brandy, man.
It had. I mean, I couldn't not do it. It had rye and then maple syrup in it, and I just thought the two mixed together with apple brandy, and it was gonna be good.
There's only one way to find out, man. If it sucks,
rerun
it. That's what I tell everybody. Like, dude, don't be afraid to fail, because if you fail, just rerun it.
Right.
Just rerun it, man.
Yep.
So that's definitely the way to go. Now, when you check out your TikTok page, you see a lot of cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of cooking,
Yeah.
I would say, tell me how you fell in love with food, but you're a fat shit like me, so we already know the answer to that. Like, it's just you're born with it. You're born with an affinity for food. You just
that's it.
Get in my face.
That's it. I love to eat, and hey, you want to eat certain stuff, you got to learn how to make it. You can't go everywhere and eat. So
it's always better when you make it at home, anyways.
So
like growing up, did you ever have any jobs as a chef? Did you ever take any classes?
I worked in a restaurant for a night and a half, and I was a dishwasher. And the manager, the lady, she came in there and started yelling at me about how backed up we were, and I mean, she was just treating me like trash.
Yeah.
So I just, my big belly and all, I took my shirt off. They gave me and handed it. It was a Lone Star Steakhouse. Took the shirt off. She gave me, handed it to her. It was my second job in high school. I already had another job. I took it off, handed it to her. She said, "Who's going to wash these dishes?" And I looked right at her and I said, "I guess you, because
I guess you, huh?"
Like
she delegated it to somebody else.
Oh yeah.
She did. But hey, you gotta treat your employees good, man. Like, your employees is as good as you treat them. So.
But so it was my dad always cooked when I was a kid growing up, and my mom loved to cook, so I just grew up watching them do it, and it's something I've always liked to do.
I mean, I imagine you got a family of your own, and it's like, man, Dad's throwing down, Dad's getting down. So
yeah, my kids are spoiled. They are. They don't realize it yet, but they are.
Hey, man, like, why not? If you can, why not?
Yeah, My best friend, he actually says that's the whole reason I started this hobby, because he said it's just another form of cooking. That's all it is. He came over to help me mash in one day. He was like, "You're just cooking. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
That's why you're doing
It's just
this."
another form of cooking. Except the end product of this doesn't make you fat.
Right.
It just keep you drunk, really drunk. So.
Exactly.
So, what do you prefer to drink over everything else?
Bourbon.
Is it
The bourbon guy, nice. I should have known. Between you and Hooch and Bennett, man, y'all the bourbon guys. Like,
yeah, I love bourbon. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love brandy too. But just bourbon, there's something about bourbon that I really like.
Well,
yeah, I'm definitely a clear liquor guy. So,
well, I mean, I feel like wood. I mean, unless you really like the flavor, the wood flavor, I just feel like it covers the character of it so much.
What I've learned with people who love bourbon, and that's what they love about it. They love the oak characteristics. They love the vanilla that they put in it. And I guess it ain't no different than, if you get a pizza and you like a deluxe with everything on it, as opposed to somebody who just likes pepperoni. It's all about your taste and what you like, and that's what matters. So
right. But yeah, I mean, I haven't had very many store-bought brandies that I like, but since I've started doing this and trying people's brandies, I like brandy a lot more. So
I mean, well, what you don't find at the stores are clear brandies. It's always aged. It's always on wood.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you get into a hobby like this, and you start meeting people, and they make clear liquor, like, try this brandy, try this, and you actually get to experience a different aspect of it. Just like with the even corn liquor, or corn, barley, rye, or whatever that build is. Usually, you go into a liquor store, if you get a rye whiskey, it's aged. It's never clear. And so it's just it's cool to taste it, be able to taste it before it goes in a barrel while it's clear.
Right.
So it's just.
Now, there's two particular aged spirits I've had that I actually really do like. And I believe both of you have had one of them, is Alan Bishop's 2-year apple brandy.
Oh, yeah, that apple brandy was nice.
Yeah.
And I've got about this much of a half pint mason jar, I guess, that he had made of some aged gin.
Okay.
The bottled and bonded gin that I got you, that Tyler had. I believe it was Tyler.
Yep.
So I've never had a gin that I've liked. That's
same until I tried that, and I was like, bro, this is good.
It's next level,
like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I ever see it out in Indiana, because like I go over to Indiana, it takes 35 minutes for me to get to Richmond, Indiana.
Okay.
And they have so much of his stuff. So
okay.
Whenever we venture over that way, I always stop in this liquor store, and I'm like, man, I could spend $1,000 right now.
Right.
And shit that I'm not going to drink, but it's just like, I want this and I want that and I want that. And like, it was the first place that I found Sugarlands, like, because you can't get Sugarlands here in Ohio.
Okay.
And
imagine that.
And it was the first place I found Sugarlands at, because you go down to Gatlinburg, you can get Old Smoky everywhere. Old Smoky's everywhere.
Yeah.
But
I mean that banana they got, that sipping cream, that's some good.
I haven't
tried
that.
I tell you, for a sipping cream, I think
Smoky's where it's at.
Yeah, the Old Smoky's banana sipping cream is better than any of the other banana sipping creams I've tasted. Not that I've tasted a bunch of them, but just the ones that I have.
Yeah,
it was definitely where it's at. So,
and it's leaps and bounds, in my opinion, too.
Oh yeah, it's way better than the Sugarlands one. That's for sure. So, like I said, I met Bean last year at the Jam for the first time.
Yeah,
and so we're all hanging out and back at the place, and so like
yours wasn't aged. The banana or the apple brandy wasn't.
And so we go back, and then The next day, somebody's like, "Man, fucking Bean wiped out the grill last night," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I guess Bean was hammered. Like, Bean was trashed Friday night and he left, and old Bean he went walking, man, and he didn't see the grill and wiped it out. And didn't they say found you? He was laying on the ground next to it.
Man, I was going up the steps back into that cabin, and it was like I went up 2 steps and then went back 4 right into that grill.
And the first thing I was like, bro, I'd have blamed it on a bear. And I think Jason, he was laying on the ground next to it. Yeah. I'm like, a bear knocked me and it over. Like, got us both.
Oh man, yeah, that was
it was a good time.
Yep, for sure.
And we're trying to get the fire started. He was bringing us everybody's liquor to burn. He's dick. I'm over I'm dumping ghost liquor on it. Like, burn. What is this?
Is that when someone dumped Phil's on there, or was it?
Oh yeah.
So she would come out and he had a jar of Phil's liquor and he went to dump it on. He's like, Phil, dude, he was mad. Yeah. He's like, bro, you dumped my fucking liquor on the fire. What the fuck?
He took it away from him, I think.
Yeah, he's like, give it back. And then I guess he took it back, and then the next night he ended up dumping it on there. He dumped everybody's on there because his butthole was puckered from messing with the ALE. So that was funny.
Yeah, that was the worst fire starting.
I kept being like, bro, this shit ain't gonna burn. It's wet. It's been raining for a week. You got big giant logs over here. You're trying to get started. Like, you need a hatchet. Like, I don't know how y'all build fires in Texas. I guess you don't have to because everything's already so fucking hot. You don't need a fire.
Right.
You need kindling. It's called kindling. Kindling.
Oh.
That was a good time. I didn't make it up Saturday night, and then as soon as Phil left, the cops showed up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you called the cops on them? If that's what everybody's going to think. And I was like, you left and called the cops on them. You're a dick.
I don't even think they were there for us. There were people back behind us being loud. We weren't being loud. So.
Y'all was just first on the chopping block.
Oh yeah.
And then the next day I was like, you was getting a bunch of corn from me or something. And I'm sitting out there. And I'm waiting on Bean to come out of the hotel. And the lady's like, what's taking so long? I was like, I'm waiting on Bean. So I take it back. That's the first time I blamed you for something. Was it the jam? And I was like, fucking Bean's taking forever, man. I don't know.
I didn't even know you blamed me that one.
It was a good time, man. Hopefully, I look forward to seeing you there again this year.
I hope I can make it out there for at least a day or 2 this year.
So where are you from? Like what state?
I'm from North Carolina. But I'm from North Carolina. We moved here when I was 3. I was born in Florida, but we moved here when I was 3. So
yeah, you grew up there. You're from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your I guess
he's thinking. Hold on.
Hold on.
Hat's gonna blow off his head.
So, what was have you ever actually, when you first started, how long was it before you tried to convert something?
Oh,
I went a whole different route with that, by the way.
It was a while. It was probably at least a year. I was doing Uncle Jesse's and stuff like that.
Cold mash.
Yeah.
Would you cold mash? Would you still cook it, heating it up, and dissolving your sugar and shit? But
yeah.
Essentially the same thing, minus the heating it up. Right. Just sugar, water.
Yeah, because I was a little intimidated to try to convert stuff there for a while.
When I tell you when you're using enzymes and when you're using powdered enzymes and barley, it could be a nightmare.
Right.
It can be difficult. It can be discouraging. And like you said, man, you got to sit there and row that boat.
Yeah.
And row that. And, dude, that's a nightmare, man. Just rowing that boat.
Get you a hoe, man. Get you a hoe.
Ain't no hoe in the world gonna make that better.
Well,
unless you pay her to row it for you.
I think one of the things for me, too, was I went to one of the brew shop here in town, and with a list of stuff I needed to get to do that. And the guy in there, he just looked at me and he said, "Somebody hates you. Why are you trying to do this?"
I hate myself.
He said, "Go get a bag of sugar, man. Don't do this."
Just get a bag of sugar. And like I thought forever that you just had to row that boat. And then, I met with Sean and started talking to him. He's like, bro, I just dump boiling water on top of it and let it sit for a while and it will gelatize. And I did that and was like, holy fucking shit. This is amazing. I don't want to give him credit. He should be hearing this right now. So let that. Yeah, there you go. But it's amazing the different techniques and things that you use and you learn that you end up using all the time, just because somebody was willing to share their experience with you, or tell you, just tell you like there's no secrets hidden. Like you got in this group, you got a question, you ask it, and you'll get 100% answers.
Oh yeah.
Nobody holds anything back. We're not like nah, I'm not sharing that banana brandy recipe with you. That's mine. I don't want nobody to know it. Like I ain't telling nobody. But if you ask, man, I'll show you. Come by, let's do it.
Right.
Let's make it.
And not only that, but I mean, all three of us can make the same mash bill or whatever it is, and it'll all three be different.
Right.
Oh yeah. Like we could all the same ingredients, the same still, the same process, and at the end of the day, it's gonna taste different. It's gonna be way different. So the Grill Slayer. So hey Jason, you need to make some shirts that look like Slayer, like it's like a Slayer emblem, but above it says Grill Slayer. I'd wear that.
So what kind of plans do you have from here on out, man? I mean, do you ever want to open a distillery? Have you looked into that at all, or?
So I mean, eventually someday, I don't know that if I want to open one or just work in one. I mean, I would like to get that experience. Just to see what it's like on that side of it. I mean, I want to learn as much as I can about it, and if I can make a career out of it someday, that'd be awesome. It would, but
that's me. I'm like, man, I want to work. I want to work at a distillery. I want to work at somebody's distillery. I want somebody to let me make liquor and then like put me a jar out every now and then. Mm-hmm. Other than that, man, I just want to make liquor. I don't want to deal with all the. I don't want to deal with all the red tape. I don't want to deal with the government. I don't want to deal with that. I just want to make liquor. I know that's a big ask.
Yeah.
But it's just like I just want to make liquor, man, on a big scale.
Yeah.
So what's the smallest still you've ever run, and what's the biggest still you've ever had the opportunity to be in on or run?
Well, the smallest is gonna be that keg. I had a half keg. It was a 7.5 gallon.
Yeah,
I had one of those, so I ran on that a couple times. And then the biggest is the 75 I have now. That's the biggest one I've ran on.
Nice, up to a 75 now.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you got that one.
Yeah, where'd you get that one at?
It was through that was through the Bennett shop.
It was through the mutual friend. I picked that up down at the Bennett Steel resale shop.
Yeah.
If Bennett was smart, he would just go ahead and order one.
Yeah.
And tell you he paid $1,000 more.
Right. That's it. Oh man.
Dollars and cents.
But it was funny because when we were at the jam this year, when he took that one home, I was just joking with him. I was like, well, how many months before I get this one? And he was like, you ain't getting this one. You ain't getting this one. And then now we see what happened.
We hear him. He says that all the time. I ain't getting rid of this. I ain't getting rid of that.
That stainless one you're getting ready to get? Give me a call.
Give me a call. Hell, Sean got a still off of him, didn't he?
Who?
Yep. The top end's a Tucking Reds, ain't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
That pot where'd that pot go? Did that go to the Masters?
No, well, fuck. I don't know.
So Sean and the Masters have the same relationship that you and Bennett have.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, if that's the case, then he needs to come over and pick a couple up.
You don't have any that are tri-clamps. You don't want them.
Good point.
This is true. This is true.
So bring that 20 over, Matt.
Bring a 20. Just bring it right here. I need a double 20s. But so, what's your favorite thing to make? Like, if you had to make for you that you want to drink on, what is something that you make that if it was like, man, I'm making this for me to drink. This is what I'm gonna, don't worry about the money, the mash costs. Like, what is one thing that you've made that you would make 100 times for you to drink on? And you could drink on it all the time.
Right now, I'm gonna say apple brandy.
Nice. You like how your apple brandy came out?
I kind of I fell in love with doing it. This past fall. When the apples started coming out, I ran so much of it that I really like doing it.
Nice. Mashing in fruit's a little different than grain, man. It's something about beating the hell out of them apples as opposed to rowing the boat. That's a lot more satisfying to beat the hell out of some apples than it is to row the corn boat.
Yeah.
And then, especially if you got to hoe them, if you got to beat the hell out of them with a hoe, it takes forever.
Well,
so.
you smush them first, right, and then you hoe them up, right?
Yeah. I'm a 2x4 guy, man. Like I know old Jason was giving me shit, Bennett, like, oh, get you a chipper. Everybody on TikTok's giving me shit because I'm just beating them, and I'm like, man, I beat them with this 2x4. And somebody's like, that's a treated 2x4. And I'm like, yeah, it's treating the hell out of these apples right now. I'm beating the hell out of them, man. I don't give a shit. I'm like, this is the way I like to do it, man. Like, this is the frustration. Like,
exactly.
I'm gonna beat this fruit, and we're gonna get down. So.
So,
shit! Bennett is right now in LeMaster's DMs trying to sell him a Estelle. Oh, so Sean just got cut out.
So do you prefer a single thumper to jars or vice versa?
Yeah, you've ran jars, you ran a thumper.
I don't think I prefer one to the other. I mean, I like both of them. Yeah, I can't say I would pick one or the other over the other. I like them both. The jars were great to run. You get a little higher proof with the jars, than just out of a single thumper. So it just depends on what I was doing. I never ran any brandy or anything like that through a jar rig. So I mean, yeah, I guess if I wanted to run something where I wanted all that flavor to carry. And it's not because
you got one of those, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
He ran that through a jar rig.
Okay. All right. But yeah, it's just with my lack of experience, I should say, in the jar rig. I just never did try to do a brandy through one.
You were still getting your feet wet in the grain real heavy when you had the jar rig, didn't you?
Yeah.
At the beginning. Still trying to that's what a lot of people are, dude. You got to master the grain. Like, you master the grain, and then
that's a touchy subject for people here lately. The word master.
That's how you feel. Oh man. Hey, so the funniest part is when y'all go on there with some satire shit, and then people just take it seriously, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Don't take it all so seriously, man. Like, most of it's just a good time. And are there some hidden jabs at certain people? Yeah, but they know it was coming, man. It's all love. Sometimes you just gotta take it.
Absolutely. So I know you got that the new one from Bennett.
Yeah.
How do you like the sealed worm?
I don't. I mean, coming from that barrel worm, it's just different, that barrel worm, it was just, to me, it was simple. It's not that the sealed worm's hard. It's just that I don't know. It's something about it. I like that barrel worm more than I like the sealed worm.
It could be also like why you favor the propane more. It's more involved. Like the open worm, it's more involved. You can see the steam coming out of it.
Yeah.
You're feeling down the side.
Yeah.
Whereas with the closed, you're just forcing water through like a Liebig.
Right.
I mean, you could be like me, I said I had I don't know if I told if you know or not, but I got a shotgun condenser, and I had it all set up, and I come up, hook the water to it, turn the water on, left the valve closed.
It didn't open the top valve.
I didn't open the top valve.
All that air and pressure had to go
Bulged it out.
somewhere.
Blew a fucking hole in it.
Oh man!
I looked down. I'm like, wait a minute, this thing ain't running yet. It's just fucking good old stream coming out. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's 2 condensers that Sean's ran, and they're putting out liquor before the still's even lit. Alcohol-free moonshine.
Man.
No comment.
Oh, alcohol-free moonshine.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
So what do you do? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you mess with any post flavor stuff or infusions or?
So I did play with some post flavoring last year. Some that's what I brought to Maggie Valley with me, and Hooch is actually the one that kind of taught me out of it. He said, quit adding this, because I was making brandies, but adding a little bit of flavor into it after. And he was like, "Stop doing that.
That's what corn liquor's for."
Yeah.
Moonshine's for.
He said, "Quit doing that and just make your brandy and let your brandy be your brandy." So I haven't really messed with much post flavoring aside from some of Easy's recipes he posts with the the different Kool-Aids and stuff like that. But Bean only uses Olive Nation. That's exactly what I was using when I was doing that. So like I ran a watermelon brandy, and it didn't have the watermelon. I was sitting there looking for that watermelon punch you in the face watermelon.
Like candy.
It wasn't there. So I was like, let me put a couple drops of this in here and mix it in and give it to you. But
that's a lot of beginners, or people that are just getting into making brandy, they hear fruit and they automatically think it's going to taste like a Jolly Rancher.
Right.
And it ain't going to, man. It's going to have them hints on there. And it's one of those things, like the more you sip, the sweeter it gets because you're getting drunker.
Right.
and it hangs around on your lips. The oils stick around, and it becomes more pronounced the more you sip on it. And that's what a lot of people need to understand when they're making a clear fruit liquor that is not post flavored. It's not gonna be like eating candy. Like the wife probably ain't gonna like it because she's gonna be like, "This does not taste like apples. This does not taste like apples." And you're like, "Hey, you gotta sip some more." She's like, "No, And then you give her an apple pie, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I like that." It's because it's got that sugar in it, man. Like it definitely changes things for you. Like,
hey, give me 1 second, guys.
You good? We're just gonna talk about him now.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I bet there's a grill outside. He went to mash it down.
You hear boom.
Yeah. Like
next time,
man.
3 steps back, not 4.
Yeah. Let's have a moment of silence for whatever grill Bean is destroying. All right, that was long enough.
We ought to wait for 2 minutes, and as soon as 1 hour hits, we'll go ahead and hop off.
It's good. Hey, you took too long, Bean. We outroed you. We went ahead and outroed you. So.
Nope, there's that grill picking it back up.
I should have known it wasn't important.
It usually ain't. So
the boy came out here. I thought it was going to be important. It wasn't.
He's just checking on Dad.
Yeah.
So, if you had any advice that you could give somebody just starting out, what would it be?
I guess just don't get discouraged. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna mess up a lot. I mean, I did. I screwed up a whole lot. So
we still do.
I still do it. Don't get discouraged and just ask questions, man. Like I was always afraid to ask people. I felt like I was bothering people. If I was going to reach out to somebody and ask something, once I started actually asking, for help and stuff, I realized people liked giving you help.
Yep.
For a while, I was just like, I don't want to bother nobody, But now I understand everybody likes helping,
Yeah, and then if you get a solid group of dudes and they enjoy doing it, dude, they're always down to talk liquor. Like that's the thing. If you got a good shiner, he's down to talk liquor. Don't matter. it doesn't matter if he's answering the same question 100 times, you know,
Right.
like he's
Right.
down to talk liquor, like, you know, or just to pick their brain and like you could be in a big group chat and won't nobody say nothing for a day, and then somebody asks a question about alcohol, and then everybody's got their own way.
Right.
And
Right.
like when we was doing that apple brandy, I was like, bro, I went outside and there's a fucking SCOBY growing on the top of my apple brandy, of my apple wine. And everybody's like, what the hell's a SCOBY?
Right.
And I'm like, bro, it's this, and that. And then Hooch starts asking, and I'm like, yep, we know what Hooch is doing the rest of the night. And he even said, like, dude, I spent the rest of the night checking out some wild ass SCOBYs, man. That's crazy. I didn't know anything about that.
Exactly.
And you know, and then you start talking, you know, it's just the way it is, man. If it ain't no different than being in a mechanic shop with a bunch of car guys, and they're all shooting the shit about their car and what they do and this and that. It's the same thing, man. Get you a group of guys that are passionate about what they do and they love what they do and they have no problem helping you achieve and be the best that you want to be.
Right. And I guess the other thing would be understand that Facebook's full of experts and ignore 99% of them.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's why I always tell people, you know, I'm like, look, get you a few solid people that you know are seasoned in it.
Yeah.
And listen to them, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can listen to everybody else, but know that what they say is fairly accurate enough to where, you know, you can do it. And just weed out through all the other bullshit out there. You know, and that's it, you know, because you know, you'll have some people that just do fruit, some people that just do grain.
Mm-hmm.
And
some people love barrel aging. You know, everything they run, they'll go throw in a barrel.
I tell you, you learn the most about somebody in their level of knowledge when you ask them a question and they don't know and they say, I don't know. Let me ask this. Let me ask somebody that I know will know the answer to that question instead of just feeding you a line of shit to fan their ego and show you why they're right. They're just like, bro, I don't know. Like, I ain't never done that, but hold on. Let me message this dude and be like, hey, man, or be like, hey, you should go ask Sean. I don't know. Or, you know, or be like, hey, shoot Alan Bishop a message because I don't know. And, and whatever he tells me, I'll never be able to relay it to you. So, you know, you just know your spot, you know, and don't be afraid to admit when you don't know something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and if you don't know, then that's a perfect opportunity for you to go down that rabbit hole and learn about it.
Yeah. And you know, Bennett likes to give me a hard time saying I ruin perfectly good recipes, but it's, you know, the stuff I have picked up from him, it's like, well, I got to change it a little to make it my own. And of course, you know, I'm not going to.
That's a good point.
Like, this is horrible. You know, it didn't come out good. And he'll be like, well, you didn't do what I told you. And I'm like, well.
It's just like you got to make it. We say it all the time, man. You take pieces from these people, and you combine it to do it your own way. Yeah. And if it don't work out great, well, you're going to change something next time. But, you know, it's your way, you know. It's your way, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
So.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I think we've been on here long enough. Sean had the yawn. I think he's ready. Now we've kept everybody on here over an hour.
All right.
My man Bean.
Well, thank y'all for having me.
Hey, don't log off because we're going to shoot the shit.
All right.
But yeah, we appreciate you being on, giving us your time.
He
tell stories, you know.
Look at that. He acknowledged me in public.
He's trying to get you to buy the next one.
Right.
He is. He's already said he had one for sale. I think he's got
planted the seed.
125 or something like that. He's like Bennett's the Wayne Brady of the Moonshine community. Let's make a deal. Let's make a deal.
He's getting a shirt that says that.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal.
Well, anyways, Bean, bro, I appreciate you. That was awesome. You give us your time.
Yeah.
Now, hey, if you want to watch Bean sleep on live,
that's right.
Hop on TikTok, man. Every now and then he'll pass out. That's when he makes the most money.
Right.
So
the only time I make any money on there.
You got to know your worth, huh?
That's it.
Know your worth. But yeah, thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate you. Sean, thanks for hanging out tonight, man.
Hey, anytime.
Hey, we'll be back next Monday, same time, same place, same bat channel.
I'm not sure who's on, but we'll find out.
So This was my guest. This is my one guest for the year. You're up, Sean.
Figure something
Anyways,
out.
y'all have a great night, man. We appreciate y'all. Check us out on Apple Podcast. We're on Spotify, Samsung. Or you can always check us out on YouTube. Just click the live link. I think we're up to about 80 shows now. So I know when
Probably.
we get up to 100 or 100 shows, it's going to be an open mic, and we're just going to have everybody in shooting the shit for about 3 hours. So
We're
I'm
going
looking
to start
forward to that.
early.
Yeah. So, but that's going to be a little while. We still got quite a few more. So maybe around the jam time. But anyways, we'll see y'all soon. See you next week. Have a great night, Bean. Take
All
care,
right.
Sean.
See you guys.
Everybody
Have a
shine
good
on.
one.